Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Wishwell Farms. We just had a 2-hour torrential storm with hail. I want to take you around and show you some of the devastation on our farm. All right, before I take you down to the fields, I'm going to show you some of the flooding around our greenhouse. We have like trenches in our driveway now. This is a pretty bad one here. I'm going to have to go get our tractor with a scraper blade to fix this massive rut in our driveway. But it flowed down into our farm stand there and looked like a river going around the front of my barn. My goodness. I'm almost scared to go out and look in the vegetable field. I can see from here that we have lots of plastic, maybe a 1/4 acre underwater. There's our trail that goes through the field along the creek. It's catching all the runoff from these fields. I mean, that's got to be a couple feet deep right there. So the water finds its way out of my driveway and runs down here. I mean, that's like a creek. There's my well pit. Fortunately, it's not flowing into my well pit. And eventually, it finds its way down the creek. All right, I'm in my Ranger, and I'm going to take you with me down to the field to see how bad this flooding was. But before I do that, I'm going to throw a little bit of footage up here of during the storm and hail so you can see how bad this was. This is not good. I'm sure we're going to have some damage from this. Fortunately, it looks like it's about over. Check out that river, just about going inside my barn. Wow. Out in the sweet corn field, many inches of standing water right out there. We also have raised beds of plastic mulch underwater. I'm guessing this was 2 to 3 inches in a half hour. Oh my goodness. I only see this about once every 3 years, maybe only once every 4, where the pond overflows across my driveway because these 2 culverts can't keep up. Wow. It's a lot of water. I'm very happy to see that the sweet corn is still standing. None of it is blown over. I don't see any shredded leaves from hail damage. Wow, we are very fortunate. So everything looks decent right here. I want to see how bad it looks where I just laid the plastic yesterday. There's absolutely no way I can drive out into this field. So a lot of the runoff comes down and flows through almost like a little creek through my field. That's why I don't lay plastic there. And it actually looks like it spilled onto one of my rows right there. I can't quite tell. Let's drive down there and check it out. Fortunately, all the plastic mulch I laid last night is still in place. I thought this one was underwater or under mud, but you can see how it formed a creek and ran right down along the edge of it. Wow. I'm just happy that none of it blew up, and it looks like, oh, I can see on this one right here, the cover dirt that buries the shoulder of the plastic has been washed away. And I bet you it happened in a couple spots down through there. So as soon as I'm able to walk out there tomorrow or the next day, I'm gonna have to fix that, or we're gonna get some winds and it'll blow that plastic right up. Oh my gosh. This is all the runoff from that vegetable field. We're definitely gonna have some major problems with this row of plastic and the one next to it. There is no dirt on it. The wind's gonna catch that and blow it right up. And I I do not want to try to relay plastic. So hopefully I can just, you know, every few feet put a chunk of dirt on the plastic to help hold it down before it blows up. I mean, look at this right here. There's no dirt left under the plastic. It all got washed away. Already blew up the plastic right there. You know, some rains are life-saving and some are devastating. I don't know if you can see it very well from this far away with this GoPro, but we have some major flooding out in the middle of our field. Some of the crops are underwater right there. Oh, it's the watermelon. This is the watermelon crop that's underwater out there. And then even part of the tomato row there. And I think the cantaloupes are gonna be all right. Looks like the water's running down the rows, but there is water standing out there. So when this happens, from my experience in the past, we'll lose a lot of crop out there. I'm sure that costs us several $1,000s, unfortunately. But at least it wasn't the whole crop. Got some nice standing water around my greenhouse here. And part of this is just inexperience on my part. I was young and dumb when I built all this and didn't realize that I needed to have my greenhouses up a little higher to shed the water. You know, after the storms are over and it's calm out and the sun's trying to come out again, it's quiet. You know, I always feel optimistic again that everything will be all right. But man, during the storms, I just feel like it's a matter of time before something just horrific happens on our farm, whether it's going to be a tornado or a windstorm, rip the plastic off, or straight line winds and hail laying down our corn. I mean, we've been pretty fortunate and blessed over the years. We haven't had anything too devastating happen since 2002. March 20th of 2002. My long greenhouse, the one I call greenhouse number 2, right there behind the propane tanks. It got opened up like a can of worms and flipped upside down, and 1,000 tomato plants were instantly killed by the freezing wind, because it was below freezing that day, that night. I didn't have it concreted in. I since learned my lesson. But yeah, that was pretty devastating. When that happened, I thought my vegetable growing career, or at least my greenhouse growing career, was going to end right there on year number 2. But fortunately, we rebuilt bigger and better, and since then haven't had too many major things happen, just a couple pieces of plastic rip off here and there. So yeah, we dodged a bullet again. The Lord protected our farm, and now we just got to clean up the mess out in the field, fix all that plastic as soon as we can get out there after it dries up. All right, well, that's about all that's going on around here tonight. I just wanted to take you guys around and show you some of the flooding, and I'll bring you back tomorrow morning for some more farming. See you then. Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to the next day after the storm. I'm standing in the back of one of my greenhouses currently, and noticed that I have this huge wet spot here where obviously water pooled up, but I can't figure out where it came from. There's no hole in my roof, and there's no wet spot in the next aisle over. I mean, I'm thinking it had to come from under the baseboard over there. Well, I guess it's no big deal. It's all dried up now pretty much. But you can see how beautiful this tomato crop is. We've been picking them hard. Getting close to 100 cases, 110-pound cases daily. And I'm sure it's going to be close to that again tomorrow. So I just noticed that the wind is really starting to pick up right now. So I need to get down to the field and bury some of these edges, the shoulder of the plastic that got washed away. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the plastic is starting to blow up. So the way I plan to repair our plastic is I take a shovel and a pair of scissors with me. If the plastic is beyond repair, I'll go ahead and cut it across the top of the bed where it's all flipped over, because there's no cover dirt on the edge of the plastic, and we're just gonna have to rip that up and relay it. If it's repairable and hasn't blown up yet, I'll try to put mud or dirt, it's probably still gonna be mud, back on the shoulder of the plastic where it's supposed to be covered up with dirt. I can see some flapping in the wind down there. Let's go down and see how bad it is. And then when I get back, I'm gonna bring my scraper tractor over here to fix all these ruts in my driveway. There's one there. I know they probably don't look that bad in the camera, but they are terrible to drive over. This one's really bad. I mean, that's like 6 or 8 inches deep. It was like a river running down through here. So I'll get my scraper blade and we'll fix all that up so it doesn't tear our vehicles up coming in and out of our driveway. Okay, with just a quick glance out here, looking across the field, I see at least 2 rows back there in the back that are blown up pretty good with no cover dirt on them. Nope, 3. 2 of them are probably about a 100 feet section, and one of them maybe a 50 footer. So maybe that one on the outside I can fix. The other ones I might just have to cut. And then I know we have a really bad one along the woods over here. I can't even quite drive through the field. I'm gonna have to back out of here. It's too muddy, too soft. So I'll drive down a grass waterway and walk in through the slop and see what I can do there and fix that one over there. And if I feel like there's too much area that has been lost and we aren't gonna have room to put all our crops in, fortunately I still have this open area right over here, another ½ acre that's not even laid. I was gonna save that for a green bean or a sweet corn planting. So what I could do is just lay a couple more rows over there to make up for what we've lost. Oh gosh, this is a sloppy mess. I don't know if I can drive out there. I think I'm just gonna have to walk out there. It looks like it might be kind of solid there because there was so much water flowing out of the field that it washed away all the soft dirt, and it looks like it's kind of rocky and solid there. But you can see, this is what happens when the cover dirt gets washed off and then the wind starts. So yeah, a couple good chunks here, but fortunately that looks like that's the only spot over here. Thank goodness. This isn't too bad. Considering what we went through yesterday, this isn't that bad. So I feel really happy that I'm only gonna have to relay maybe a couple rows here next week after it dries back out. Okay, this is way softer than I thought. Getting rid of the tennis shoes, going back to get the boots. I should have known better than to come out here with tennis shoes. For some reason I thought maybe I could just kind of walk across the solid part of the field, but it is pure slop. The sweet corn held up just fine through the rain. Looks beautiful. Oh, I see some tassels. Look at that. There it is. First tassel I've seen this year. The corn is almost waist high right there. Man, this crop's looking nice. I mean, there's a few spots here and there that the planter had a couple skips because it was a little sticky out when I planted, but for the most part, this crop looks gorgeous. That's better. Good grief, I can't even walk in this. And the wind's getting really bad. I'm gonna have to go back to the end of the field and walk right along the edge of the plastic, I think, but it's flapping around worse. And what happens, it'll continue going down the row. Eventually it'll take the whole row up. So I gotta get over there ASAP and get this cut. Now that I'm out here, you can see how solid it is. There's no loose soil left. This is how low the disc went when I was disking. So I'm down on like a hard pan right here because all the soft soil has been washed away. First thing I'm gonna do is go cut these before it goes any further down the row. If I just would have came out a little bit earlier, I probably could have prevented almost all of this row from blowing up. So if you look right here, you see how the cover dirt has been washed away right here. This was all buried by dirt like this side looks. That plastic is all buried right here in this section, like 6 or 8 inches of it. So that dirt's all washed away, but starting right here, it's covered again. So I'm gonna cut it across the bed right here and just gonna have to let this flop over. I'm not gonna try to repair 100 feet right now fighting this wind. So I'm just gonna pick it up, cut it, and we're gonna let that flop. There's nothing I can do about that. But I'm gonna keep this bed from getting any worse. Just gonna dig some of the soft soil out of here. We're gonna pretend this is the end of the row. And for those of you who may have wondered where our drip tape is in this row, I'll show you. Right there. It's buried about 1 inch to 2 inches off center. All right, this row is good to go. Gonna do the same thing to this row right there. And it's getting ready to go another 30 or 40 feet, I can tell. We're getting into some soupy stuff again. So, even though it hasn't blown up right here, it's only a matter of time because look, all the cover dirt's gone. This is the only amount of dirt that's holding it down right now. So, I'm gonna try to repair this one, that final 20 feet. I'm just gonna cut it right here. Whew, getting windy. All right, I think that row is good enough. Now we got to tackle the next one. That's too far gone. Got that one repaired, and that one repaired. So just a little beyond halfway. You can see behind me here, these 3 rows are going to need redone. I may try to just relay them right here, but if there's not enough cover dirt, you know what I could do, and what I've done in the past is actually cut the drip tape right here at the end of these rows. Pull the drip tape up out of the way along with the plastic, discard all of it, and then bring my scraper tractor out here and smooth these beds back off so it kind of throws the loose dirt off to the side, kind of levels it all out, and then bring my bed shaper back out here and try to lay new beds where the existing beds were. It's just going to have to dry for a while because it is really muddy. So hopefully next week I can do this. If that doesn't work, fortunately, like I said earlier, I have this ½ acre over here. I'll lay 2 or 3 more beds over here to make up for this loss right here that we won't be able to plant on unless I can relay it here. So time will tell. I would like to keep it all together right here on these rows and just relay it, but I'll keep you guys posted on how this turns out. All right, I think I'm finished here. Walking back across the top of the bed where it's dry. That's nice. Look at that beautiful soil. Yeah, I bet I could smooth these out and relay them. So those of you who are vegetable growers and lay plastic mulch, what would you do in this situation right here? I've done it both ways. I've pulled the plastic up and discarded it and relayed it. You about have to do the drip tape too. You can mess things up trying to relay a bed over drip tape that's already there. Or would you just cut your losses here and move over to this other open section and lay a couple new rows and move on? Yeah, I'm not sure the best way. Let me know in the comments what you guys have done or what you would recommend. Even if you're not even a grower, which way do you think I should go? Let me know. Fortunately, the rest of the field looks pretty good. I don't see any plastic coming up, except on this outside row that I already talked about. I hope it's just a 100-foot section or something. Oh boy. Just about need the 4-wheel drive to get through here. All right, I see a little section right there I'm gonna have to rebury. Fortunately, it hasn't blown up yet. And we got 2 rows over here with messed up sections. Dang. I think I'm gonna try to fix this second one. This one. I mean, it hasn't blown over yet, so as long as I'm willing to rebury this edge for 150 feet, I see it's messed up all the way down. We're just gonna have to relay this row. There's 250 foot right here messed up, maybe 300. All right, I have everything fixed that I'm willing to fix. I'm gonna chalk this row up as a total loss. It's almost all blown up, at least 2/3 of this row. What I don't like about this is 2 of these are zucchini and 2 of these are cucumbers. So now I'm not gonna be able to keep them together. It's gonna kind of mess up my planting. I'm gonna have to like put maybe cucumbers here and then 1 zucchini and then move the other one way over there. I'm not sure what to do. I could just shift everything down 1 row. It wouldn't be as pretty and as easy for harvesting and spraying and everything else, but I think it would work out if I just shift everything down 1 row. Now for the even bigger question. How do I take care of the herbicide issue? I guarantee you all the herbicide I sprayed the day before this rain is gone. 4 inches of rain, 3 to 4, I don't know for sure. Some people only had like 1.5 inches around us, some people had 4. It was more than 3, I guarantee it. I haven't seen a rain this heavy in a long time. And I guarantee you all that herbicide is gone. It got washed down the rows and it's sitting back here in the back somewhere. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be fighting major weeds all season, especially with this moisture and these warm temperatures near 80. Weeds are gonna start sprouting up like no other. I'm considering applying the herbicide again. The same pre-emergent that I used right before the rain hit. Metolachlor Dual and Command 3ME. Clomazone, I think that's what it's called. And halosulfuron, Sandia, Permit. I don't know if it's gonna hurt anything by doing a double application. I don't think it will because the herbicide doesn't really get under the plastic. It gets washed off the plastic and only is in the aisleways between the plastic. And I'm thinking it's all gone. What do you guys think I should do? Do I wait and see what happens and hope that the herbicide isn't all washed away because there's a possibility of injuring my crop if I apply it again? Or should I apply it a second time and hope that everything's all right? You know, I could have crop damage with a second application, or I could be fighting weeds if I don't apply again. It's one of those things, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know? Decisions.